Well, good morning. Hope you're doing well. We have a subject today. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties. Got a subject today I want to talk to you about. What does it mean to love yourself? What does that mean? Jesus says that you should love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22, he says that he's asked the question, what's the greatest commandment? He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second commandment is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. So what does that mean? Um, because I think a lot of people don't feel like they love themselves. I mean, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people feel like they do anything but love themselves. They despise themselves. They don't like how they look. They don't like how they act. They don't like the decisions they make. You know, it's just a very difficult thing to imagine that we love ourselves. So if I'm going to love my neighbor in that way, then I'm going to despise him just like I despise me. And I think that's a hard thing. I think it's a hard thing to love people when you don't feel like you even love yourself. But what does it really mean when you're even thinking that? And I think what it means is that we're very concerned about ourselves. I mean, you may not like the way you look, but you're concerned about the way you look. You don't like that because you love yourself and you want to look differently. You don't like the way you act because the way you're acting and your behavior is developed over time through habits and parenting, being parented. In other words, the way you grew up, surroundings, your social life, all of these things you wish could be different. You see all these people, especially with social media, it makes us even love ourselves even, or makes us love ourselves even less because we saw these cool people on TikTok or Facebook. And it's been said, oh man, if I could just be the person that I pretend to be on Facebook. I think the thing is that we many times think that we don't like ourselves, but actually we really love ourselves so much that we wish we were different. Now, even depression, we're suffering from depression. Well, we don't want to suffer from depression. We don't want to feel anxiety all the time. We'd like for that to end. And sometimes it gets to the point where the fear of living another day in the midst of the depression and the anxiety that we're experiencing is greater than the fear of going on another day. And when that happens, of course, we know that, and it's a great statistic, especially among young people, that the suicide rate kicks in. So surely you would say that suicide is a form of not loving yourself. I don't love myself at all. I love myself so little that I'm willing to commit homicide against myself, which of course is called suicide. But really, it's a form of love of yourself. I mean, if you think about it, what you're trying to do is end the pain. You don't want yourself to be in this kind of pain anymore. And regardless of what it's going to do to other people, regardless of how it's going to affect all the other folks around you, that anxiety is so high and you love yourself so much that you just can't bear to go on. Suicide notes sometimes include comments like, I'm so sorry, but I just couldn't take the pain anymore. Why? Because as much as you love others, you love yourself more. And the pain and your being in pain was greater, or maybe I should say, your being free of that pain and that desire for you to be free of that pain. In other words, your love for yourself was greater than your love for anybody else. So Jesus' comment in that light remains true. To love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor so much that you can't stand the fact that they are in pain. So much so that ending that pain for them is the greatest desire. Now, what's the best way to end their pain? I mean, is it to make sure that they don't have to go through rough times? You can't do that. Is it to make sure that they have financial stability or an education, thinking about my children here, or that they are healthy in every way possible? Well, I can't do any of that. I can't guarantee that my children, who I love more than anybody besides their mother, love more than anybody on the face of the planet, I can't ensure that they are not going to get cancer and die before me. I can't do that. So as much as I may love them, I can't do that. What is the one thing that I can do? Here's the one thing I can do. I can do everything I can to give them Jesus. I do everything I can to tell them about him and what he's done. That Christ's atoning sacrifice at the cross means that cancer can't touch them. It means that whatever's going on in their financial situation while they're on this earth will end in a vapor of a time. That's James chapter 4, excuse me. It's meaning that whatever relationship they may face, even in marriage, even when that marriage is falling apart in their lives, then I'm telling them that there'll be a day that they're married to someone who would never leave them and never forsake them. So the thing is, what we're called to do is to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and might. In other words, do everything we can to leverage our lives for his glory, to make sure that he is glorified in every single thing that we do. I'm here on air and talking to you. My desire is for you to love him and for me to bring glory to him. That's my desire. It's my whole goal on being with you this morning. So how do I love my neighbor as myself? I do everything I can to make sure that they have the opportunity to know this Christ, this Jesus that I've come to know, to have a copy of this Bible and to know what it says and encourage them in that direction in every way that I can. Now, I can't make anybody do it, but that's not what the command is talking about. The command is talking about doing everything I can to do that. And here's the last thing I would say on that. Loving your neighbor as yourself is holding out hope that they can be better just as you hold out hope that you can. And again, it could be a financial issue. It could be a relational issue. In other words, a relationship with someone else. It could be a depression and anxiety issue and wanting that to end. I want that to end for myself. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to be in suffering. I want nothing but joy and happiness all the days of my life. But can I love my neighbor as myself? That's what the call is to do. Now, who is my neighbor? Well, I love the word neighbor because it doesn't mean my best friend. It doesn't mean the people that are really, really lovable. Because my neighbors may be lovable or not. My next door neighbor may be somebody that's just extraordinary, or my next door neighbor may be lazy and confused and mean and unlovable in every way. I mean, that's what a neighbor could be too. So Jesus told a story of a Good Samaritan who saw someone that he should not have helped. I'm going to make this very short. He should not have helped him. He was someone who should not have in any way stopped to help the person who absolutely hated him and was mean-spirited to him. But he did it. And he did it, and he did it, and he did it. He did everything he can to make sure that this person, with his financial resources, with his his strength, he lifted him up on his own donkey. He carried him into town. He bandaged his wounds, and he made sure that he was provided for. So who's my neighbor? Sometimes my neighbor is somebody that's not very lovable at all. And sometimes that's difficult. But that's the call of Jesus. So here's the command. What's the greatest commandment? To love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And the second command is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? It means to love the unlovable, to love the unlovely, to do everything I can to say, I don't want pain in my life. I don't want suffering in my life. I don't want lack of Jesus in my life, if you're a believer today. And I want to make sure that they have the opportunity to not have any of those things in their lives. So that's what we can go out and do today. All right, make it a point today to look for somebody, maybe someone who's unlovely. Somebody popped in your mind when I said that. Somebody that's not very lovable. Somebody who's popped into your mind, and maybe today God is calling you to just love them and show them love. So go and do that. All right? The question was, who is my neighbor? Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan. After it, he said, to who do you think was the most loving? And he said, the one who had mercy. He said, go and do likewise. I say the same thing to you. So go and do that. I hope you have a great day. It's Tuesday, October 27th. Tomorrow night, we will be together. We're going to talk about an apologetic, which is, if God is so loving, why is there evil in the world? That's going to be our subject. I hope you'll tune in at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to share this right down there below on Facebook. Also check it out on YouTube, because it'll be over there at the Dirt Road. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be always informed of all the best and latest material and podcasts that we post. So I love you all. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.